Welcome, Dr. Larry, the author of Playful Parenting. Please, what is your success story? Tell us about it.
Well, when I started studying psychology and I was learning about working with children and families and parents, it seemed that the attitude was that parents were to blame for everything. Parents had messed everything up, made all the mistakes, and that the job of the therapist was to fix everything. And this did not make very much sense to me. At that time, I was not a parent, but I didn't feel like I really could help children and families very much. And then I became a parent, I became a father, and I realized that it's really not parents' fault. Parents are not bad. Parents are doing their best. It's actually very hard. Parenting is very difficult. We have a lot of struggles and challenges. And from that perspective, I felt like I could really help families much better.
Yes.
And I think that I started listening to parents rather than thinking that I knew what to tell them to do, because I realized I really did not know what to do.
Yes.
So when I started thinking about what it meant for me to be a parent and listening to other parents, watching children, learning from children, that's when I started to write down some of the stories that I was observing and some of the things that I was learning. And so then I love to write, so I just kept writing and writing and writing. And then that turned into my first book, Playful Parenting.
Yes.
And I've been very pleased that people around the world have been interested and have wanted to learn more about it.
How parents can discover their kids' talent through playing?
I think that the first thing parents need to do is simply get down on the floor and be with children.
Yes.
Children are the experts in play. The way I think about it is that most of the time we bring children into the adult world. We tell them, this is your schedule, this is when you eat, this is when you sleep. You have to go to school, you have to be quiet now. And this is normal, this is natural, we have to do this. But sometimes we can do the opposite and we can join them in their world.
Yes.
So we go into the child's world and we play with them, we join with them, we connect with them, and this builds a close bond between us. And we know that when children have a sense of connection and safety and security, that they do better in every way we can measure. They do better in school, they have better friendships, they have better marriages, they're more successful later in life. And so this is what children truly need.
My favorite cute and playful parent book, Children Don't Say I Had a Hard Day at School.
Yes.
Today, can I talk to you about it? They say, will you play with me?
Yes.
Please explain.
It would be, yes, it would be wonderful if our children came to us and they were very calm and they said, oh, I had a very hard day, or I miss you, you've been working so much, and or you've been upset about something and it's made me feel a little bit lonely. Could I sit in your lap and talk to you? That would be so wonderful. But that's not what happens. Almost always, children become overwhelmed by their emotions. Their emotions fill them up, and they stop being able to think so clearly. And so they do two things. So one thing that they do when they're overwhelmed with emotions is they just cry or scream or are angry, and they need us to just very calmly be with them when they're having that emotion.
Parents thought that when they have a hard situation, they will talk to us directly.
Yes, yes. And we know most of us have a hard time doing that also as adults.
Yes.
Right? When we're upset, we don't say, "Excuse me, I'd like to talk to you for a minute." We start yelling, or we hide, or we do something. So the other thing children do is they play. They use play to work out any difficulties in their life. And so children have a hard time in school, and they want to come home and they want to play school. And when a game, they are the teacher, and they can be very strict. And they'll probably want you to be a naughty child. And they're the strict teacher.
Yes.
And this helps them recover their sense of confidence and recover their emotional balance. So sometimes I hear from parents, "I want my child to be able to sit down at the table and talk to me about everything important." Well, most children don't do it that way.
Yes.
We have to connect with them their way, and their way is usually play. And if they can't play, it's because they're so overloaded with emotion. We need to just help them contain that emotion.
Yes.
Not yell at them, "Stop crying," but say, "Oh, you have so much to tell me, let me listen to you."
Yes. Parents say to me, I play with my kid every day, even though my kids don't listen to me.
Yes.
What is wrong?
I think that it's very complicated. We want children to listen to us. Some of us have realized that if we force them to listen, that doesn't really work.
Yes.
So the number one thing to help children listen to us is to listen to them. And so we listen to them, and this teaches them how to listen. The other thing is that when we play with children, of course, they want more and more and more because they love it so much.
Yes.
And so one thing that I like to do, because what happens is you play with your child, and then it's time to stop playing and do something important. It's something different. And so something you think is important, right?
Yeah.
And so what we do is we play for 30 minutes, and then we say, "Time to get going," and our child is very upset. "Oh, I want to keep playing. You never play with me. You're mean."
Yes.
Well, they will do this. This is natural. So what I say is, if you have 30 minutes, then you play for 15 minutes, and then you say, "Time to stop," and you let them argue with you for the next 15 minutes. And so you still spent only 30 minutes, which is what you planned to spend, but they decided to spend half of that time saying, "You're mean," but it's fine. This is just what they need to say. It's no big deal. The other thing for helping children listen that really helps is connect with them first. So if we yell at the child from the other room, "It's time to go, put on your shoes, hurry up," then there's no connection there.
Yes.
And a lot of children would just tune us out. They're not paying attention because they're focused on what they're doing. Instead, what we need to do is go over to them, sit down next to them, put our arm around them, and say, "Oh, look what you're doing. This is so interesting. Look at this drawing you made. It's so beautiful. Let's put it over here so we know exactly where to find it when we come home from school." So you've connected first, and then they follow your direction much better.
And
I'm sorry.
You say you follow her lead.
Follow and lead. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Let me explain that. So to really join with a child, we want to follow them.
Yes.
Right? And this starts when they're babies and they're newborns, and they look at us and we match their expression that they have on their face. And we give back the same expression that they have. And then they have a new expression, and then we match that expression. So this is that following. And then later we do that. They love cars, so we play with them with cars.
Sometimes parents play games that we love. Not children love.
Yes. So we can do that also. We want to teach them the games we love.
Yes.
And this is good. This is good. We want to share that, but sometimes we need to forget about that and play the games our children love. That we follow their lead. Then other times we want to be a leader because let's say you know that your child has trouble in school, but they don't want to play school. So we say to them, hey, let's play school. Do you want to be the teacher?
Yes.
And so we can lead it because we know this is important to them. Or your child, some children are very bossy and they're always telling their friends, do this, do this, do this. I'm the boss. I'm in charge, right? So we know that this is important to the child. So then we are the leader and we say, hey, I've noticed you like to be the boss. Let's play the big boss game. And the big boss game, we'll take turns being the big boss. Now you've bossed me around and you make it very funny. Now it's a game, it's not real, and so it's very funny. You've led by introducing that theme to the play. I call it bringing a problem into the play zone. You bring that problem into the play zone, and then children use their natural ability to play to solve that problem. Once you introduce it, then you switch back to following.
Yes.
They're the play experts, and so they say, oh, this is how the game should go. And
may tell us how to be a playful parent easily? How to be a playful parent?
I think it's challenging to be a playful parent.
Yes.
Some people want only to have a list of games. Okay, these are the games that you play with every situation. I don't think that that's enough. I think we have to change from inside. Some of us are very serious. I was very serious. I had to learn how to be silly and goofy and fall over and exaggerate. I had to learn that.
To have a decision to be a playful parent.
Yes, I had to make the decision, and it was hard, and I had to practice, and I felt awkward and embarrassed at first. And some of us are very anxious, and some parents are so anxious about their child's future success that they don't want them to play. They want them only to study. Well, children don't learn their best if they're only studying. Children need to play and rest and feel safe and secure and loved in order to learn their best.
Yes.
So we have to drop some of that anxiety and trust that if we play with them, have fun with them, they will actually learn much better.
Yes, yes. Finally, what is your advice for parenting experts?
I think the thing that I've learned the most, that's been most helpful to me, is to listen to parents.
Yes.
When I started, I thought, I know everything. I will share everything that I know. You're wrong. I'll tell you what's right.
Blaming parents.
Yes, but that's not correct. That's not helpful.
Yes, no.
It's really, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your struggles. Tell me what your joys are. Tell me your fears. Tell me your goals, your hopes. Tell me about your child, what you love about your child. And this, parents have so much wisdom and knowledge inside, and they're just waiting for someone to ask them and to listen to them. And so it's not about having the right answers to tell people, being a parenting expert.
Yes.
It's really about listening.
The secret is listening.
Yes, listening. And then most parents who seek out advice, parents who want to improve, often are very critical of themselves.
Yes.
And I find the best parents are often the most critical of themselves.
Yes.
So we have to to be a good parenting expert, you need to let people know, I have admiration for you. I see how hard you are working. I see what you're doing right. And I have compassion for you where things are a struggle for you, where people say, I don't want to hit my children, but I hit them. I get so frustrated. And it doesn't help for me to say, don't ever hit your children, right? I think children shouldn't be hit, but that doesn't help them. What helps them is to say, oh, I really have compassion for you right in that moment when you don't want to hit them, but you don't know what else to do. You just feel overwhelmed. and confused. And I find that when people receive that admiration and compassion, they can really change in the ways that they want to change.
Thanks, Dr. Larry. Very, very happy to meet you.
I'm very happy to meet you too. Thank you so much.
Thanks.